In this video, we're going to talk about wheelchair foot attachments, what they are, how they work, and everything you need to know to choose the right one just for you. Todd, nice to see you again.
Good to be here.
So we have a whole bunch of feet I'm looking at here, one way or another. These are wheelchair foot attachments. Can you tell me firstly, kind of what are they and how do they work?
In many cases, they would be attached to a standard foot plate of a wheelchair, and they simply add more structure to hold a foot in a bunch of different fashions.
Okay, so this is a wheelchair positioning device, something similar to what we've been talking about so far.
Exactly.
But just for feet.
Right.
Okay, good. So what are some of the distinctions? I'm seeing very different devices here.
So like, for instance, this center one here is just a molded frame that one would slide their foot in and they would wrap the buckles around.
And arguably all of these are when you're wearing a shoe, right? So you slide your shoe in and it supports your ankle and the front of your foot.
That's a great question. In some cases, people use socks only. Sometimes they use bare feet. This one probably would be with a shoe.
Okay, good. And I'm seeing, by the way, in the bottom of this thing, some holes. I presume that you can basically screw that to your wheelchair. Is that how that works?
It goes into the foot plate of a wheelchair.
Okay,
Correct.
good. That's how that's mounted. Now, these ones look a little more comfortable. What's the story here?
Right. These can, in many cases, these are used without a shoe.
Okay, so that one's for a sock or a, as it were, naked foot.
Right.
Can we say that? It's YouTube. I think we can say that.
Yeah, it's a naked foot. This one is simply a Velcro attachment that, you can essentially put your foot in there, wrap your toe section and your heel section. And the cool thing about this one is it holds your foot in place, but you actually can get a little movement. So you don't feel like you're in prison.
Right. So it's not like a bracket like this one. It's a bit more freedom.
Right. And for the people that have, they want a similar feel, but they may be high tone. They're very strong with their feet. Okay. This just adds buckles, so you can't blow out if you really want to get out.
This little thing here is actually to kind of add a little tension. Is that correct?
Yes, it can tighten it down. Right.
Okay, good. We've got some over here that look a little looser. Is this for...
Right, and what this does is this is actually designed to go around simply the ankle, and these are actually attached to the foot plate. So it just holds your ankle into position, but your toes can move, so you have big, bubbly shoes, you're okay with that one. Okay. Just holds your ankle. Okay. And that one is just the smallest version of this one for a little tyke.
I've got to say, I like these shoes. They're very cute.
Yeah.
All right, good. So just different sizes.
Right. And this one here is a foot box. And a foot box is typically used, they put it on the foot plates of the wheelchair, but feet just sort of sit in there, but they can move around and so forth. But it's preventing them from falling off the side, coming back, and so forth.
All right, so there's just different degrees of freedom and movement associated with these different foot attachments.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say you are new to this whole game and you have to figure out which one fits you. So you'd be thinking about lots of wiggle room, mediocre wiggle room, little wiggle room, and then just strapped down like crazy. And I presume any difference between men and women? Everyone's feet are kind of the same, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yes. Just size.
Okay, just small people versus large people.
Correct.
Right, good. Is there anything else we need to know to select the right wheelchair foot attachment for a particular person?
Again, you look at what you're trying to accomplish, how much freedom you want in the feet, and then also what you're attaching it to. So if you have a solid foot plate, all of these would work quite well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I know that also with you guys that you make custom foot of everything, but custom foot attachments as well, particularly if you're using these, I want to say, for sports, or maybe you're using these for elderly care versus wheelchair care for disabled people. What are some of the customizations you've seen?
In many cases, the customizations occur on a foot box size, because we have, and there's many different sizes that you can adapt these to sort of make them work for multiple situations. But when it comes to a foot box for sports and athletics and so forth, they might want a higher back, wider. They might want the front to come out further so they can ram people with it, if it was a combat sport. But yes, the sizes and shapes and materials and what they're padded with and so forth.
I'm thinking I would want one painted red with flames.
Yeah, there you go.
Like that. All right, well, look, thank you so much for your insight here, as with everything else. I appreciate that.